Okay.
Pat, why is your name on every multiple fly swatters?
Because it has
Oh,
to
we
be-
were playing a game with fly swatters.
Can we play a game?
Yeah, it was fun.
No one just told me that.
Wait, you
Maybe.
were there.
I was there.
Oh, you mean
like
today
those
you played
ones.
it?
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, today I played it in trig. See how we wrote on the desks? And so I had them swat the desks, and
That's cool.
we had some people like jumping over the desks.
See, you're fun. Most teachers are like, no.
Well, I tried to make learning fun because what
Otherwise,
my job is to help you learn stuff. So if I just sit and talk at you, that doesn't help.
Yeah, you're pretty good.
Okay, let's talk about factoring. You guys remember any of this stuff? A little bit? Okay. Do you remember what a greatest common factor is?
Yes. It's in like both. That both numbers go into.
Yeah, that would be, yes. So the greatest common factor is the biggest number that you can divide both of them by.
Yeah.
So something
Say that. Let's see what that means.
something like this. So we have the first one, 12k minus 18. What is the biggest number that we can divide both of these by?
6.
6. So we would divide them both by 6, and we'd bring the 6 outside,
Oh.
and then we would have 2k left in here minus 3.
Oh.
So this and this are the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So whenever you're factoring, the very first thing we do is we look for greatest common factor. So let's look at the next one.
Oh God. 8, 12.
Yeah, so 40 x to the 8 y plus 64 x to the 4th y. Okay.
That's not 12. Is it 8? Is it? No, it's 5. No, it's 8.
No, it's 8. You're 8. So 8. We can divide all of them by 8. But what else can we divide all of them by?
16.
What?
I just guessed because I.
8, 40, 64.
What about these x's? Can I divide out some x's?
Yes.
Why?
4.
Yeah, I can take, see there's 4 x's in this one and 4 x's in this one. So I could take all 4 of these and then take 4 of those out. So I would have 8 x to the 4th. And then what about the y's? Can I take a y out of each one?
Could you?
I guess. Yeah, because I could divide this by y, right?
So it just
And I
turns
could
into
also
y.
divide this by y. So there is a y also in each of these, so I
Turns
can pull the
into
y out. And so if I take all of this stuff out, then on the inside I'm left with 40 divided by 8, which is 5. X to the 8th divided by x to the 4th.
X squared.
How many x's do I still have left?
Yeah.
2.
Don't you listen to Rye. He's leading you astray.
I don't know. Rise like top of
2. He's leading you astray. See, there's 4 of them here, or there's 8 of them here right now, right?
Divided.
And I took 4 of them out,
That leaves you 4.
So you're
so I still have 4 of them.
Oh,
What? So you're subtracting, not dividing.
Well, here's the
Do
thing.
this.
Okay.
Because x to the 8th divided by x to the 4th,
8 minus 4 is 4.
remember the exponent rules?
No.
8 minus, okay, so let me show you how this looks.
I know.
Exactly. This is 8 x's, 8. X times x times x times x times x, that's like 5, 6, 7, 8.
Alright, shut up.
There's 8 x's.
Help her count.
You're messing me up.
Okay,
Okay, and then you like cross
this
them
and
out,
this
right?
are the same thing, right?
Yeah, okay. I see.
So then, yeah, I have 4. 4 of them go away, I still have 4 left.
Okay,
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
Ryan keeps messing me
I
up.
doesn't know what he's doing. He's just here.
so I divide 40 by 8. X to the 8 divided by x to the 4th is x to the 4th. Right, because I have 8 total. I
You're
took
not gonna
4
have a
of them.
Y.
I'm not going to have a y because my y came out. And I'm going to say plus 64 divided by 8.
8. No
X.
X's.
No x's and no y's.
Nope.
Oh, what?
So this and this are the same thing.
I know.
I see.
They're just in a different form.
But,
Ooh, the next one's 7.
I can be the first one. I don't know about the next one.
Next one's 7.
No, not what I mean.
Okay, yeah, so let's look at the next one. 14m to the 6th minus 35m cubed minus 7m squared.
No, but
Kyle.
25.
Don't listen to Rye.
It's 7.
It is
No, but
7.
I know, but then you can't take out any of the M's.
Yes, you can.
You can.
How many m's are in this?
6.
How many are in
3.
here?
2.
So what's the
2.
most of the most that I could take out of one term?
See,
2.
but I thought you had to use the same.
You do use the same.
No, but I mean, like,
You
you can't divide 6 by 7. Or you can't have said no.
2, 3 by 2.
You know what I mean?
3, you're worried about this 3 divided by 2?
Yeah.
Well, there would be 3 m's on top and 2 m's on bottom.
So
So m to the third divided by m squared would be
okay.
1 m left.
So
I know what
you
you
end.
Right? Yeah. So I take 2 of my m's away from this one, so I have m squared. So in here I still have 2, and I have 4 m's still inside, right? Because I had 6 of them. I brought 2 of them outside.
I keep thinking you times and divide.
I'm getting
So it's gonna mess me up.
So just think of this as like, you can think of that as 7 times 2 times n 6 times. Okay.
Oh.
This is that, right? So what I did is I took my 7 and I took 2 of my m's and I brought them outside. So I have 7 m squared outside. Well, what do I have left over? I have 2
to the 4th.
times m to the 4th.
Okay.
Okay, so what do I have left here then?
5.
5
And then 1 m.
and 1 m.
And then wouldn't it the next one be -1?
Yes!
Wait a second.
Woo! Nice job!
I know.
People
Oh,
forget
I
that
see.
all the time. This is the biggest mistake people make when taking out a greatest common factor.
I did.
Because you have this last term and you're like, oh look, I just took the whole term out. But when you divide 7m squared by 7m squared, you get 1. So you gotta leave your 1 in, you gotta tell me that there was something there to begin with. Otherwise, when I multiply back in, I just multiply by these 2, and I never end up with this term.
I got you now.
That make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I can remember this.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
okay, let's look at the last one on the greatest common factor ones.
Okay, wouldn't it just be 1? Because
No, ma'am.
they can't go into each other.
So yeah, there's no numbers that we can take out, but can we take out an A or a B?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Which ones?
A and B.
Okay, so we're gonna take an A and a B out, and we're gonna be left with 3B inside.
Wait. Oh,
Okay, why 3B?
1.
Because
Wait,
there's 2
no, I
B's and
can't
you're only
look at all
taking
these
one
B's.
out.
Okay, you're only taking 1B out?
Yeah, I see.
Because see, this one only has 1B, so I can't take 2 B's out because I only have 1B
But
here. I gotta look for the greatest number I can take out of everything.
But I'm trying to square them. Or, I mean, cube them or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got you now.
So this was 3 times A times B times B.
Okay.
I took the A and the B out, and I have left 3 and B.
Yeah.
So
And then
is it
here
A?
I
We're gonna have 5A
Uh-huh.
and no B. Us. Yeah.
Yeah, because I took the A and the B out.
And then 8. Oh, plus 8.
Are we gonna have homework?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
no.
God.
This? No.
No. No.
Is it like this?
It's factoring.
Are we doing all of this and then?
No, I think we're gonna just do some of them. Because I think you guys remember this, you just don't remember that you remember it. So let's, okay. So see on here where it says, when factoring, always look for a GCF. We always look for a greatest common factor first. I made this mistake in 4th period. I forgot to look for a greatest common factor, and then I factored the whole thing and got an answer that wasn't right because I forgot to take the greatest common factor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's not do that today.
So, let's look at number 5. X squared plus 14x.
So could you still do it with just 2 numbers?
Can you factor?
Yeah. With
Yeah.
just 2?
Yeah, anytime that there's more than 2, if there's 2 or more terms, if they have something in common, you can pull it out.
Okay.
But now what we're doing is we're looking at something like this and we're trying to get it into factors. So 2 things that multiply together to equal this.
Oh, no.
Okay? We're trying to look for 2 terms, like x plus something and x minus something or whatever, that multiply together to equal this. That's what we're looking for.
What?
Now,
I love this.
No,
Can I
stop.
try to do it?
Not right now.
No.
In a minute. Okay. So,
Good for you.
you may have learned all sorts of different ways to do it, but this is how I like factoring, okay? So when I start to factor, I draw an X on my paper.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, wait,
that.
we did
talked
this.
about this.
So I do an X,
Yes.
and then up here I put A times C.
My thing's
I don't think there's a C in here.
Well, there's not, A is 1,
No.
and C is
C. Oh,
45. So I have 1 times 45, so right here I'd write 45.
Oh, I see you.
And then down here I write B.
Oh, and down there's B, so that's 14.
So this is
X.
14. Just 14, so it's just the number in front of the X. Yep. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find a number that, two numbers that multiply to 45 and add to 14. So I'm trying to find numbers that multiply to this number but add to 14.
9 and 5.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to start thinking about all the different factors that
She's
you can
like,
come
you
up with.
think.
No, I knew it. I just wanted to say it.
Oh well, you always say everything else.
Okay.
Nuh-uh.
How dare I say one thing?
So we have these two numbers. We know they're going to multiply to 45, and we know they're going to add to 14. So then I
With
just
this?
write them as a factor like this: x plus 9, x plus 5.
That's it?
So this times this is the same as this. If I multiplied it out in that FOIL or box method that we learned, if I multiplied these out, I would get to here.
Okay.
Okay?
I feel you.
So do you put the bigger number on top?
No, you put
Xing you.
you put a times c up here. So you go whatever your a is and whatever your c is, you multiply them together. You put it here.
Oh,
And
the
whatever
bottom
your
one
b
has to be
is
negative
goes here.
15. Ooh, you're funny. Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, it's
Okay.
3 too. 13.
So let's look at the next one. W squared minus 15w plus 26.
Negative 13 and negative 3. Is that what it is?
A times C and B, so we want to multiply to this number, we want to add to this number. A times C is 26 times 1, which is 26. B is negative 15, so here's the thing. They need to multiply to a positive number, add to a negative number. So what do I know about their signs?
They have to be
They're both
negative.
negative.
They're both negative. Negative. They both have to be negative. Okay.
13
So,
and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
See, I got it before you.
I was raising my hand, just being polite.
We don't
I'm not
raise
in
our
this
hands in this
class,
class.
I know technically.
There's 3 of us.
Totally lost.
Oh,
Alright, we'll
no.
look at it in a little bit, maybe.
Get it?
Okay, so then we write it
It's
W
W.
minus 13.
Can I write X? 'Cause I
If
don't
you
like
write
it.
X, I won't be mad because I write
I
X all
will.
the time accidentally.
Micaiah, you're wrong.
So if I went and multiplied this out, all I'm saying is this is just this in a different form. I'm just doing two different forms. Okay, let's look at another one.
Let's do a hard one.
Can I do the
Let's do number 8.
What if I want to do that?
N squared minus N
Oh, you're
minus
funny.
72.
Yeah.
So I have negative 72 up here and I have negative 1 down here.
Right?
Sorry.
Negative 1 and negative 72?
Yeah, so what are some
Oh,
numbers
no.
that multiply to 72? Well, let's start looking.
72 and 1.
No.
Okay, well 72 divided by 2? What's 72 divided by 2?
34.
Got it.
What is it, Russ?
6.
Okay, would those add to 1?
Sure.
No. Alright, grab a calculator and go 72 divided by 4, 72 divided by 6, 72 divided by 8.
Oh god.
How many things? 8.
9.
Okay,
No.
9 and?
8.
I think.
So 9 times 8 is 72?
Oh,
Yeah?
8 minus
Oh,
9.
and then
Negative 9.
9. Oh, you have to plus it.
It's
Wouldn't it
negative.
be negative?
Negative 9.
Most of it.
Oh, that's the
Oh,
T
right.
Wait,
You
can
see?
it be another way around?
You could have the 8 over here and the 9 over here, but the 8 has to be the positive one because when they add together, they have to go to negative 1. So it doesn't really matter which side you put each one on. So then we would just write the factors as x minus
My
9
GPA just went down.
and x plus 8.
I missed this class.
For
Is
that
this
system.
algebra 2?
Yeah.
It's so much easier than trig pre-calc.
Okay, yeah, that's why you
Trig
don't
is
do
so
trig.
great. We love trig.
But I have to do it.
Okay,
Don't be advanced.
You don't have to?
I have to.
Why?
Because my high school credit from middle school doesn't count.
okay.
Ooh.
N
Someone
squared
said it
minus
did.
2n plus 1. Let's factor this one.
Where are we?
I do it.
10?
Number 10. Yeah,
You go too fast.
sorry.
Oh, it's 2.
No, it's not.
Wait, isn't it 2 minus 1?
What times what equals 1?
1.
There's only, the only factors of 1 are 1, but
I
they
didn't
have
see
to,
the
negative
1.
They both have to be negative.
they both have to be negative, so they'll add to a negative 2, but multiply to a positive 1. So this factored is n minus 1 times
So
n
simple.
minus 1.
Yeah, because Should.
Can you just throw in a few of these into our class so we can just cool our brains off?
Yeah, so he can just.
I
make
need
me
to
feel
actually.
stupid.
I need to give you guys something to.
Something easy.
Their brains are blowing up.
You want to look
Good.
at what we have
So
to
is
do?
mine.
It's not that bad.
Want to look at what we have to do?
Not right now.
Come here.
Not right now. We're doing
Okay,
number
now right
2.
now.
Okay.
I'm doing
What I
my
have to do is hard.
I've been doing most of this.
Okay. Here's my.
Are you? Oh, Z. I thought it said 52 for a second.
Yeah.
52.
Number 12.
Ooh, ooh.
What do we have to do
Ooh,
first?
5.
No, it's 35.
You're right. We have to check for a.
And then negative
Greatest
2.
common factor.
We have to check for a greatest common factor.
Alright.
And
then-
we always have to check for a greatest
Wait,
common
wait,
factor.
can it be 5Z?
No, because this one doesn't have a Z in it.
But that doesn't.
So it has to. You have to be able to divide every single term by it. So
What? I thought you said you didn't have to.
you do have to be able to divide every term by that.
Oh, no.
6.
Do I have to?
You
Wait,
have to
you're
find the
going
greatest.
too fast.
She's going slow.
I'm waiting.
Okay.
Okay.
Now what do we do?
So pull the 5 out,
She's a perfection.
and we get to here. All right. Now we factor this,
Got it.
right? Okay.
Right, shut up.
No.
Oh, you got to factor that?
Why?
So we have to multiply to a times c, which is 1 times 6.
Okay.
Now we have to add to -5.
Oh, wait.
-3, negative.
No.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Wait, why'd you get
I know, but-
-5?
2.
Because I pulled a -5 out of, or a 5 out of each of these.
Yes.
Okay, but what is a negative?
Bam.
Because this was negative.
Negative 3, negative 2.
So 20,
Oh,
negative
D.
25 divided by,
Negative
yeah.
3, negative 2.
Okay.
That adds to -5.
Oh, yeah, you
equals
multiply that.
+6.
So when they multiply, they're going to multiply to +6, and when they add, they're going to add to
So it's going to be
-5.
n minus.
So what happens when you don't factor it first? Or find the greatest common factor?
Then you're going to do a bunch of work with this thing called slide and divide that we're going to look at in a minute.
Oh.
And then you're going to find an answer that doesn't actually work, and you're going to be mad because you're going to look at it and be like, that doesn't multiply out right, and you're like, oh, crud.
I'll just
That's
give you an
what-
example.
Why can't
Last
you-
year, Miss Barney did one. It took up all this board. And
Miss
half
Barney?
of that
Barney?
one-
I was like,
or not
Miss
Miss
Barney?
Barney, Miss Angle Drum. Took up that whole board, half of that one. Wrong answer.
Why would
Erase it all.
you do that? I wouldn't even want to.
That's the worst. Because
It
here's the thing
sucks.
though, we could check ourselves, right? We could go back here, we could say x times x is x
Okay,
squared.
but we know how to do this.
Minus
Why can't we
2x,
stick with this?
minus 3x, so that's
Sometimes
negative
can't do
5x, and that's plus 6. So we look back and we realize we can always check our answers every time to make sure that they
See, but I get
multiply out.
this. The slide and divide thing, probably not going to get
Okay,
it.
we're doing slide and divide then.
When?
No.
Right now,
13?
Have
number
fun.
13.
I'm zoning out on this one.
Zoning out. You don't like slide and divide, right?
Whatever, you need to cool off your brain.
Yeah, pull up your brain.
If I dumb it down too much, from this stuff,
Hey,
then I definitely will fail this
Don't
assignment.
Okay.
say dumb it down because it makes me
this
feel
is
dumb.
not, no.
This is
Don't let him make you think.
Right, shut up.
wait till
Okay,
later in the year.
Ready?
That's all.
Slide and divide.
Guess what? I don't have to take it next
Okay, slide.
So what we do is we slide this
No
over
way.
here. I'll show you what we do, okay?
And
So-
divide. It's going to be 6, 9.
Hang on, wait.
Sit 9.
Not really. We divide later. The divide comes later. So
Slide
you
it over there.
draw your
Slide.
x just like we were
Wait.
drawing before.
Then divide.
Tiana, let her do it.
And on the top we do a times c, just like we did before.
Okay, on the bottom.
But this, and then on the bottom we do b, just like we did before, okay? So, but this time our a is 2, not 1. Before our a was always 1. So we're gonna say 2 times 18, which is 36. And then I still put my b down here, negative 15, okay? Now I need to find numbers that multiply to 36 and add to negative 15.
13 and 2.
Correct me, though.
13 and 2.
Yeah.
What were you
Look, I already
13.
said it, Kiana.
What?
Look, I already said it.
Yeah,
No?
I was thinking.
Yes, that's
You're
right.
right.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, because 13 times 2 is,
Negative
36.
Negative 13 times
Negative
negative
36.
2 is 36.
Yeah.
And then.
isn't it 26?
Oh, yeah.
Oh! Never mind.
See?
You were wrong.
Everyone's like,
I
knew
thought it was 26.
No, you're fine. So now we gotta figure out another one. Okay, so let's go work.
What?
So we go 36 divided by 2 is 18. So we have 18 and 2. That doesn't work,
3 and 12.
right? 36 divided by 3.
It's 12. Oh, that's right.
I was gonna say that, but Lakai's like, no, 13 and 2.
Don't listen to her.
Yeah, but I
She's
know
Well,
wrong.
you see,
26.
Lakai's usually smart. Like, she's
Okay.
way smarter than me.
Not today.
Don't say usually.
Hey.
Okay, she is smart.
You're all smart. You know that.
No.
Okay.
I'm pretty dumb.
Here's the thing.
Yeah,
Now, once we
it
have this, we can write our factors. So we write
Negative.
x minus 3 and x minus 12. But here's the thing. We can't leave it like that, can we? Because if I multiplied this times this, I'd only get x squared. But
So you have to put 2.
x squared.
No.
Well,
You
I
divide
slid
something.
my 2 over.
So you have to divide
Now here comes the dividing,
9.
right? So I divide this by 2, and I divide this by 2.
Why?
Why?
X minus.
So there's like a lot of algebra behind why this works. It's like a
You just leave it like that?
no.
Oh
shoot.
my
Let me
god.
show you what to do. Okay,
Simplify.
this one x or 12 divided by 2 that comes out evenly, right? So I can
-6.
just write that as x minus 6 because it comes out to a nice whole number.
And then you have to
Not X
slide
minus
out.
X.
Don't
It's
you?
just X.
Now this one comes out to a fraction, right? So if it comes out to not a whole number,
Just
you
slide.
slide the 2 back in front.
So it's 2x.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this isn't that bad.
Now I get that the why behind this is really not. It's like
Making
a
sense.
lot, but the other
Owen
option,
Vondra, please come to the high school office. Owen Vondra, thank you.
the other option is like guess and check. So
Is
I was
it?
talking to other Algebra 2 teachers, and some people love this, some people hate it,
I hate it.
and a lot of
Love
people are like, oh, I just make my kids guess and check to figure out like which multiplies to 36 and adds to 15, and then they have to like start just moving. This is so much easier because it works every time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, can we
So I
do
get
next
that it's
one?
like a trick that you just have to remember, but I feel like it's better than the alternative. Okay, so let's try the next one. 5p squared plus 22p minus 48.
Can I do this one?
So we multiply 48 times 5.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
So on these ones, do you still have to do like find the common?
You would look for the greatest common factor first, yeah.
Oh gosh.
But is there a greatest common factor?
No, I was
no.
just asking.
Yep.
Okay.
This is the one I messed up earlier today because I forgot to look for a greatest common factor. We get down to the factors, they're not right, and I realized forgot to look for GCF. Okay, so 5 times 48. Someone with a calculator, will you do that for us?
Rebecca.
No.
Rebecca's on it.
She got
240.
Negative 240, and they add to 22.
Right, do you have an answer?
Working on it.
All right, wait, so let's do this. Well, we know 24 and 10, right? That makes sense because 240 is 24 times 10.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work.
No.
Okay, so then what about 12 times 20?
That works.
No.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so what about 6 times 40?
I don't know.
No.
Okay, so what are some other factors of 24?
3.
3 and 8?
Mhm.
So that would be 8 times 30?
Yeah.
Bingo, right there. That's
Wait,
the
are you
one.
subtracting on the bottom or adding?
Bingo.
Well, they need to multiply
one's
to a
multiplying,
negative, which
no.
means one has to be negative and one has to be positive.
Oh, so
Negative
30
8,
minus
positive
8.
30.
Yeah, so if I do a positive 30 and a negative 8,
I keep
Oh.
thinking that you have to not do negative.
so I'm adding them together, and when I add a negative, it's subtracting.
So that's going to be p minus 8.
So we'll do p minus 8,
P plus 30.
p plus 30, but remember we slid, now we gotta divide.
Oh.
We already did our slides, so we gotta do our divide. So we do 5 here and 5 here.
Oh, okay, I can
5p minus 8.
So this one doesn't go evenly, so we bring it out and we have 5p minus 8
P plus 6.
and then p plus 6. It's not bad,
I
right?
can do this. I got this.
Okay,
I don't.
Make Lakai do the next one.
let's
No,
do
not
another
how
slide and
much,
divide. Number 16.
Yes.
16. Oh, I can do this.
12x squared plus 5x minus 2.
Oh, wait, you have to find a little
Is there a greatest common factor?
No.
Nope. Okay, so negative 24 up here and 5 down here.
8 and 3.
Shut up!
83.
Hey,
Sorry.
let them think
Oh,
it out.
8 and 3. I thought he said 83.
He is correct. He
If
just
he does it again,
he's
can I hit
trying
him?
to seem smart in here.
It's because this makes me feel smart.
But
I
it's
understand.
Trey.
Good. Nobody's feeling smart in Trig.
See, in this class, I could run in front of the bus. Trig, I'm like 30 miles behind with Riley.
A little bit. That's okay. X plus 8 and x minus 3.
Divide by 5. Do you divide by 12?
Yeah, so we divide both of them by 12. Uh-oh.
Ooh, and then 12x minus 3.
That's
Okay.
a big old daddy.
So what about this one? If I just slid this 12 right over here, I would have a problem because I'm sliding this 12 over as well.
Why?
Why did
Yeah.
So then,
So you just don't do it. You just skip it.
so let's look. Can this simplify?
Yes.
Yeah.
To 4, 6, or 2/3.
Okay. And can this simplify?
Yeah. Yes.
No. Is that it?
Then we go back. We slide them back over.
So there would be 4x.
So it'd be 3x plus 2
Okay.
and 4x minus 1.
Asking you, huh?
If they can simplify, you got to simplify them first because here's the problem. If I just slid these 12s over here right now, then I'd have 12x times 12x, which would give me 144 x squared. That's not what I want. I want 12x squared, right? And so you can check. You can go, oh wait, 3x times 4x, that'll give me 12x squared. That was my first term. That's what I wanted. Okay, let's do one more of these. 16m squared
Wait, which one are we doing?
plus the next one down, just 18.
Oh, okay.
Okay, is there a greatest common factor?
Yes.
Yes. What is it?
16. I don't know.
I don't know. Use your calculator, divide.
I don't have my calculator. Rebecca?
Rebecca, do your
It's
job.
weird that I have a whole wall full of calculators.
You
That
do.
is weird.
Wow.
Yeah, it's called the
I got you.
Calculator Academy.
You know what?
Find a greatest common factor between, oh, and do you know what? These calculators will tell you a greatest common factor.
Oh, how?
Ready?
Tell me.
Okay, so on here,
I don't know.
I think.
Go get one.
No, maybe not. Let me find it.
What are you doing?
It's annoying me.
Maybe not. Maybe it's just on the line.
Okay, wait, I got you.
I'll have to look and see if
Oh,
there is
it's
a way.
not 8. That's 4.
Sorry. The other one. I have one that's like just like a one step up from that. Okay.
Is it 6?
Is it-
8. No, it's 6.
So
No,
this,
it's-
that can't be divided by 6.
It's not 8. 54 can't be divided into 8.
Try it. 54 divided by 8.
No, it's 6.75.
Oh, okay.
I actually thought it could.
No problem.
You sure?
Yeah, wait, 54?
Yeah.
54. Yes.
Yeah,
It's
because 56.
56.
It's 56.
Yeah.
7 times 8 is 56.
Yeah, you guys
So
are
two.
second guess myself.
It is 2.
It is just 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wait.
it's 2.
Woo!
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel smart.
8m squared
Oh,
plus
just kidding.
30m, and then 54 would be 27.
Wait, do I? Okay.
Yeah, so here's how you know if you got the greatest common factor. Once you get it to smaller numbers, it's easier to see, right? These ones are hard to see what their factors are.
Is that what that
But
is?
27, well, 27 has 9 and 3.
Oh, screw that.
9 and 3, but that's 3, 3, and 3. But this can't be divided by 3 or 9,
Mm-mm.
right? So we know. We know we're good. Okay, so we leave our 2 outside, and we just remember our 2 for later, okay? We just remember that that's there. And then we factor this. 8 times 27.
What?
8 times 27.
20.
Oh, I have a calculator.
Oh, well, that didn't work.
It's 216.
Negative 216.
And then 30.
They have to add the 30.
No.
So let's do, what's 216 divided by 2?
I can hear you.
What's
Divided by 2 is 108.
108. Okay, that's too big. So let's divide it by 4.
Okay. Wait, what is it? 216? 54? Divided by 4? Yeah, it's
54, still too big. Okay,
Six.
so let's divide it by 6.
I don't think it's gonna work.
I think it's 8.
I think it's 8.
No, it isn't.
Well, 8 divided 8 would be 27, right? Because 8 times.
You said
have 6 and 36. Because
then you could have a negative.
Oh, so 6 and 36.
Yeah.
6 times 36 equals
it'd be negative
216.
6.
So we'd have a negative 6 and a positive 36.
Yes.
That would give us to a positive 30.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow.
And then, so now we write our factors.
Do we leave the 2 there?
Let's just remember that we can remember our 2 is out here, right?
Okay. Yeah.
X minus 6 and x plus 36. But we did a slide and divide, or we did a slide, so we got to do a divide.
Do you want the 8?
Okay.
Wait, why did we divide by 8?
Because we multiplied, remember when we multiplied it in the very beginning? So it's our slide, we did our slide, now we got to do our divide. Some people call it bottoms up. I have a whole song.
Excuse me.
Bottoms up. Find the GCF. Something.
where's the
GCF is
song
not
for
enough.
it?
Bottoms up. Bottoms
I
up.
have a song for her.
I do.
Yeah,
I have the best
Is it not?
slope intercept form song, but it's like we teach it in middle school, so you guys don't need it. But
We
it's
didn't
so
learn
great.
slope intercept in
What does y equal? Mx plus b. What does
we
y
did
equal?
learn that.
Mx plus b.
We did learn
Zero
that.
comma b
Did we?
is the y-intercept and tells you the slope.
That was 4 years ago. I can't remember.
So
that
great.
stuff.
Okay, so this doesn't divide evenly, but it does simplify.
I should just go grab my backpack.
Yeah, you should.
These can both be divided by 4.
Oh, I slid him over, so it's 4 minus 3.
Is Davis?
Are we done?
Yeah, so we have 2,
No.
4x minus
Oh,
3.
maybe 2x minus plus 9.
Yes.
And then you add that little 2 guy.
So you just make sure, since you took your GCF out, you just got to remember that it's out there. This whole thing, if we multiplied this all out with the way, a couple days ago we did FOIL and stuff, if we multiplied all of this out, it would get back to that original. They're the same equation. Okay, ready?
No.
The last thing we're going to talk about today is the difference of squares.
Squares?
So you see this right here, and do you notice that it doesn't have a middle term?
Yeah.
Right, that's weird, right? All the rest of them had like x squared plus something. This is called the difference of squares because you see there's a square
And that's a
and
perfect
another
square.
square, and they're getting subtracted, which remember that means the difference is another word for subtraction, okay? So when you see this, you recognize, oh look, it's 1 squared minus another square, a perfect square, and this is the way it works. We could do this with our x method. We could say a times c would be -4, right? 1 times -4. What is our b?
X.
There's no b. You see there's no b in here? That would be a 0 times x.
Oh, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a -4 and a 4.
A negative 4.
You think 2 4s would multiply to 4?
Just kidding. A 2 and a 2.
Yeah, I knew what you were saying. I just said a different number than you. I knew it was happening up here. Okay, really, right? Look, so these would multiply to -4, but they would add to 0, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Okay, I was trying to get there. Okay.
You got there. Don't you worry. I knew what you were saying. Okay.
That was just so cute. -4.
So the difference of squares,
What's that?
we take the square of this right here, and then see how this is like 2 squared is 4. This is the pattern every time. Every single time.
It's all gonna be 0, right?
Yeah,
Except unless you
but
have
so
a-
you don't even have
So
to
if you
write the
got-
0, because look, all I do is I take,
Oh, hold up.
Right?
Oh, so
It would be
fast.
x minus 9. Oh, I did it. So
because look, 9 squared is 81,
what do you do with this guy though?
and y squared is y, or y squared is y squared.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be like x minus a number and x plus a number every
Okay.
time if it's the difference of
Okay,
squares.
okay.
Okay, so what do we do with those hairier looking ones?
Harry.
Number 23?
9x squared minus 25y to the 4th.
26.
Okay, here's the question. Is this something squared?
Yes.
What? This is 3 squared and this is x squared, right?
So,
So
it's
the whole
3x.
thing
3x
is 3x squared. So we know that 3x times 3x is going to give us 9x squared, right? And we know it's going to be plus and minus because it's the difference of 2 squares.
Why am I? Oh, it's a 4 though.
Okay. Difference of 2 squares. We have plus and minus.
Oh,
Okay,
and
what's
would
this?
that be 5 squared?
So this would be 5
Wait, why is it
But don't
5?
you have to put little
because 5
5 times
5 times 5 is 25, right?
Okay.
Okay. What squared equals y to the 4th?
Y2.
Yes.
I was gonna say that.
I feel so smart.
See, it's the difference of squares.
Oh,
Like
I'd rather
this.
Y.
Yeah, I do. It's easy.
Last Friday.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
No. 7.
M squared n squared minus 49. So we know that the second number, you're right, is 7.
Would it be mn minus 7?
Yeah.
And plus 7.
Oh,
Yes.
what? Okay, you
Wait, slow down. Okay, you're good. So she got these. This is 7, right?
you just divide by. Yeah.
Because what's the square root of it? What squared equals 49? Okay.
7.
What
Okay.
squared equals mn?
M.
And
Okay.
See? That's not so
Kai, you
bad.
just work too fast, man. Too fast.
too fast.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you your worksheet.
Oh.
No, not that. That's not it.
No, I cannot.
This is a big worksheet.
It's only 4 problems.
Oh, okay.
Mental ball.
But they're like 4 hardest problems.
They're like deep thinking problems.
Why do you
Okay.
think it's for me?
So this is
Oh, yeah, 4 problems, just 100 answers.
no.
What?
Okay, watch. So this
What?
is what it. See the box?
Yeah.
You have to figure out a number that goes in the box that you would be able to factor this whole thing. Okay.
2.
Now the reason I put first attempt, second attempt, third attempt is because you're probably not going to pick the right number first.
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
write down your first guess and tell me why it didn't work.
Because it does work.
Well, what do you mean?
So like, what if you put 2 in here?
And then you factor
And then
it.
you factor it and see if it works. If it doesn't, say, oh, it doesn't factor.
But how do I know if it is?
You don't.
Can you help us with the first one?